Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, and that whenever and wherever you happen to be in this marvelous, madcap, mayhem-filled matrix, that you are not being pummeled by perfection. Now, you and I both know that you are perfect on a soul level. You are made from pure love after all, and love is absolutely perfect. It is what it is. Love is God, God is love. Remember that the all is in all, and the all is all. All is in the all, and the all is in all. Ooh, that was a hard one to wrap my mind around there for a couple minutes last night when I was reading the Kybalion. And then once I got it, I was like, well, yeah, duh, of course. But you have to know it on a deep, deep level, right? So, all of creation is perfect, and yet we are perfect in our imperfections. And we strive for a level of perfection that just simply cannot be 100% reached. It just can't. You live in a world of polarity. And even though we've moved up to the fifth dimension, we're still hanging on to a lot of those third dimensional patterns. So, can't be happy without ever discovering sadness. Can't feel love when you're still feeling fear, not 100%. You could still feel love, and you could still feel fear at the same time, but it's like not 100% fear free. You're not, you know what I mean? It's like love and hate aren't really opposites. It's love and fear are the opposites. I mean, hate is an active force against. And it's not really the opposite of love. But I'm not here to talk about that right now. Perfection is something that just slows us down and can pummel us into submission of nothingness, where we wish we could be great. We see our lack of perfection, and that stops us in our tracks. It might fill you with fear or dread or anxiety or basic worry, or fear of like humiliation. If you're not perfect, I can't be on TV. I look a little overweight, or I got a couple extra wrinkles I'm not happy about. Things like makeup can fix that, and your hair can be fixed, but certain aspects, like we can't fix everything. You walk with a limp, everyone's gonna know. Yeah, I guess I can't. I'm limiting myself on that level. Hope you heard that beat, by the way. That's I'm going to tell you in the second half what that was. I've mentioned it before, but some of you already know. Perfection is something that I as a Virgo, I want everything to be perfect. every single time. I want everything to be perfect, but it never can be 100%. And I've let go of a lot of that. Thank you, God. I have let go of so much of that need to have control until I'm perfect. The circumstance is perfect. The relationship is perfect. The job is perfect. My grades are perfect. You know, if you have ever spent the weekend upset because you got an A- or a B on a paper or a project or a test, you know what the hell I mean, right? And if you have ever spent the weekend absolutely thrilled you got a C or a D, you're hating the rest of us who spent the weekend worried that we got an A- or a B. Because we're insufferable with all of our absolute perfection nonsense. It's nonsense. I have let vegetables in the refrigerator go bad because I did not find all of the ingredients necessary to make a perfect salad dressing. Stupid, right? I should have eaten the vegetables. I have felt less than perfect, or felt like my clothes were less than perfect, and called to cancel dates or good times with friends because I didn't feel right about the way I looked or the way I felt, or I wasn't 100%. And I've literally used that as an excuse not to go out with people. I'm not feeling 100%. What the fuck does that mean? Do you feel at least 75%? Then go out. If you don't have a fever, the reality of it is I don't feel perfect, and so I don't want anyone to see me because people will know I'm not perfect. I'm telling you right now, just fuck that, because guess what? You're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Never going to be perfect. And you know what? Your friends, they're all worried about the same damn thing you are, but they have at least the balls to go out. They have the guts to be in public. That's the difference between you and them. If you're like me, I'm not perfect. I don't know. I just, limiting myself in so many different ways for 51 years, coming up on 52 years. I have limited myself in so many ways. And looking back, it's like super hurtful that I have done that. I drive myself crazy. Like, I relate to Chidi on The Good Place. Have you ever seen that show? The guy can't make a decision. He can't, do I go there? Do I go here? I don't know. Well, if I do this, if I do that. And he weighs all the pros and the cons and the options, and he makes this list, and he drives himself crazy. And he drives everyone around him crazy. So much so that he ended up in hell. And you know what? You're going to end up in hell too, and I'm going to end up in hell too hell on earth, if we continue to look for and strive for perfection when we should just be going for the gold, baby. What if you went for the gold and you ended up with a bronze? Is that going to kill you? No. You still placed. But you can't place in a game that you don't play. And you got to play in the game of life, You might not win in the first position, but you're definitely not going to finish last if you try. But that nasty, perfectionistic attitude that so many of us have, that we've struggled with for years, it just really holds us back. And these are just some of the thoughts I've had today about it. Like, how many times did I not smile at someone because I felt like my teeth were a little too yellow because I had an extra cup of black tea yesterday. Or just so many different things, just stupid things like this. Just all these different examples. I could probably sit here and come up with hundreds of them. Well, I mean, my house is clean, but it's not perfect, so can't have people over. It's so stupid, like sometimes I have broken down and just said, I don't care. I'm going to allow people to come over and it's going to be okay. And anytime I've tried to apologize or make an excuse, oh, my house isn't all that today. You know how many times people said, you're right. You're a dirty pig. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, no one ever. Nobody ever. Ever. I mean, my house isn't like, you might accidentally sit on my pet hamster or something. It's not like a pigsty. I don't have I was going to just say there's no banana peels laying around. Then I looked at the table. Damn it. I'm living with a teenager who left a banana peel on the table. But actually, for the most part, our house it's not messy. It's a little bit cluttered because I have a bunch of fruit on it, a lot of fruit. I have like 5 or 6 kinds of fruit right now. I just got the groceries yesterday and I don't want to put them completely in the refrigerator yet because they were not refrigerated, and with coronavirus, things die within 72 hours on surfaces like plastic. We're going to talk about that later tonight. But but in the refrigerator it can last longer if the coronavirus is on the plastic. So right now I'm a little bit clutterific, but I don't mind because it's just food. It's like fresh, amazing fruit. But I mean, it's like not bad. And most of the time, in fact, 9 times out of 10, people go, well, I'm not here to see your house, Elena. I'm here to see you. And then I just feel bad. Why did I place the importance of the appearances? It's because of my parents. My dad never gave a crap, honestly, but my stepmom always was like, oh, God forbid. I'm so embarrassed about the place. She was a Virgo too. She was a perfectionist too, but she wasn't a perfectionist in the way that she would clean. She was a perfectionist in the way that she would work extra hours so she could pay for a maid to clean, and she would also force me to clean. And that's why I hate cleaning, because she always forced me into it, and she beat me up for not doing it. She was very abusive, very rude, and so I have my reasons why I don't clean, why I will stubbornly refuse to clean and just break down and pay a maid because it's like I can't friggin' handle. I'm a terrible cleaner because of it. But that whole idea of making excuses and not being perfect is it's so ridiculous. I mean, unless you have rats running across your floor in the middle of the day and mold dripping from the ceiling. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like for the most part, my house is pretty clean. I mean, we take out the trash every 2 days, sometimes every day. I just finished my laundry. I have maybe one more load of laundry to do. Okay, not that big of a deal. I just, my sheets I took off the bed yesterday. I didn't wash those yet. And I haven't washed my top blanket on my bed in a week. So it's time to wash that again. Okay, so, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's like, I want everything to be 100% perfect, but it just never is. Even the day after the maid comes in my house is yes, it's so clean. I still manage to find nitpicky little things so that I can say, well, it's not perfect. And it causes so much pain emotionally. Does it not? Does it create pain in you emotionally when you feel like your body isn't perfect? your level of intelligence isn't perfect, or your education level isn't perfect, or maybe your degree isn't 100% what you wanted it to be, or maybe your GPA, maybe you have a degree, but your GPA is not all that good. Like they're asking for a candidate with a psychology degree, and you're competing with 3 people who have a 4.0 GPA and never had a life in college, by the way. And you had a wonderful social life and sex life and, family time, and you had all kinds of things going on in your life, and work. Maybe you had to work to put yourself through college. And so maybe your GPA is like 3.75, or maybe it's 3.84. It's not quite perfect. And now you're scared because you're competing against the people with a 4.0. So you're scared. You're like, I'm definitely not going to get the job. Then you sabotage it because you weren't perfect. But I'm going to tell you a secret right now. If that's the case, if that's the exact case, that you're competing against other people, you could tell the boss to be, hey, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to tell you something. Those 4.0 assholes out there in the hallway didn't have a life in college, but I did. I learned how to get along with people because I was social. And I learned how to balance school and work and family and a relationship because I had to. People that get 4.0s have a rich mommy and daddy usually paying for everything. Or if they don't, they've got like a full ride. They don't work. It's impossible. And for me personally, my GPA wasn't perfect, but I was battling an illness that the doctor said I will probably die from. I can't believe I got a bachelor's degree. Let alone any other degree after that. But I did, and I'm right now working on my TESOL certification. I'm in University of Arizona right now online. It's like hard. It's like 48 weeks long, and I'm managing to get through almost 2 weeks a day worth of work. I'm working my butt off over here. And I still have the immune system problems, like with it's what is it called? Chronic fatigue syndrome, but I got it from a virus that stays in your body for freaking ever, literally forever. It's like it comes up, it crops up every now and again. It did lessen after 20 years though. I've had it my whole adult life. I got it on an army base, so yay. Thank you, U.S. government. Of course, I shouldn't have been on the base, but anyway, that's besides the point. They should be playing around with this kind of crap. They really shouldn't. But yeah, so like my health has not been perfect since I was, in fact, before I did this, my health was like pretty good. Most of my life, my health was bad, and then I had a couple really good years where my body was strong, physically fit. I was sexy and thin, and my skin was clear. My diet was perfect. Everything was perfect. I was like a type A personality, perfectionist to the max. And then I got this virus, and it floored me, literally. Like I couldn't get out of bed for 3 months. I literally thought I was going to die. In fact, one time I had a fever so high that I went into a coma in my house by myself. I lived by myself, and I laid down on a Friday to take my temperature, and I passed out until Sunday. There's a bunch of phone calls that I missed, and the phone was right next to my head. My landline back in the day when everyone had landlines. Scary ass shit, man. But I survived that. I survived a really nasty illness while also working, while also balancing my relationship and my family life. basically seen my mother and my grandmother. I didn't have kids yet, but and asthma and allergies and the whole 9 yards. So no, did I get a 4.0? No. Do I care? No. Because you know what someone who gets a 3.0 and what someone who gets a 4.0 gets at the end of the 4 years? They get a freaking bachelor's degree. I think my GPA was like 3.84 or something at the end. And it made me mad. I was like, I really wanted something better than what I got. But, you know, at the very end, I took a class, I got a D. And I asked if I could take it back. Can I come back in the summer? I want to raise my GPA. And they said, no, because you've graduated. I'm like, oh my God, if I'd taken that class 4 years before, I could have retaken it with a different teacher who didn't have English as a second language. She was impossible to understand. She was from Russia or something, and her accent was so thick. All I could hear was blah, 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 blah. I want to suck your blood. I don't know. She was like I don't know. It was like maybe a Romanian mixed with Ukrainian. I don't even know where the hell she was from. But my friend and I, Melanie, we were just like, that's all I hear. It was like Count Chocula doing but I couldn't understand a damn word this teacher said. And I kept going, what the hell is she saying? And people would be looking at each other, and they'd look at her, and they'd look at each other again, like, what the hell is this woman saying? I don't think a single person, oh no, actually one person did understand her accent, and she got like an A. And everyone in the whole, she ruined the curve for everybody else. Oh, we hated her so bad because she was perfect and we weren't. And it got to a point where I hated the class. I tuned the teacher out. I studied my ass off, and I still did terrible. Every time she said that I was allowed to have double time on the test because I am dyslexic and I'm certified as having learning disabilities. I'm dyslexic, and so she promised me verbally to my face, and then she would pass out the exam and leave the damn room. And her student teacher said, nobody said anything about double time. You don't get that. Why should you be singled out over other people? I'm like, because when I read a sentence, I don't know what the fuck I just read, and I have to read it 3 or 4 times. And it might take me 5 minutes to understand a sentence, whereas everybody else here can read it once and understand it in 5 seconds. And it could take me 5 minutes, and it's like, I don't get it. It's like the added pressure, the emotional pressure. And he was like, well, you have to okay it through the teacher. I'm like, I've okayed it through the university. You know, the head of the psychology department knows my situation. And I've been given permission, and I've got paperwork, and I showed it to him, and he every single time said, well, I can't do that. And I'm like, well, you need to talk to the teacher. I'm sorry, she's left the campus. It was every time, and she did that to me to sabotage me and gave me a D- or a D at the end. It was ridiculous. And I ended up taking a couple of classes after my degree at this school called Pierce College, community college, and I went there. And I remember I met this really amazing woman, and she was really awesome. She was like, I don't know, like 18 or 19, and we had a class together, and she was one of the coolest people ever. And she's like, so, you know, what do you want to get your degree? And I'm like, I already have my degree. There was just some things that I wasn't perfect in my rounding out of my education. So I'm back in school, and I took, I took biology of all weird things, because I didn't take it in college. I only had taken it in high school. And I also took chemistry, and I took math, a couple different maths. I don't know why. It's like I must just really have masochism. I'm a masochist. I don't know why I took these classes, but I just wanted to have more of a scientific background. I just wanted more information, and I, because I'm a nerd, I just had to have it. And And so I took a lot of different classes again for fun. Like I went back to college for like a whole year after I got my degree. It was like so strange, and I did work. I worked in LA, and I worked to help gay and lesbian adolescent kids. I worked in a group home, keep them safe and in school and off drugs, and keep them in high spirits. And some of my kids that I worked with had AIDS. It was really, really, really hard emotionally, but I did for a while. I went back to college. I felt safe there, but I didn't feel like I had learned enough math and science. So I went back. I met this really cool person. She's like around 19 or something, and she said, did you ever have a teacher named, and I'm not gonna say her name, but she says her name, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah. There was 2 teachers that I could have taken this one class with, and one had a German last name, and I was told that he was from Germany, and I have a hard time understanding the German accent, so I picked the one with the Japanese sounding name because I know that I can understand Asian accents better for some reason. It's just the way that I learn, right? So I picked this Japanese woman. I get there and she's freaking Russian, and her husband apparently was Japanese. So I was stuck in the class. I couldn't transfer to the other class, and she ended up being a big bitch, okay? So I hated her. I hated her with my every cell and fiber of my being. And this woman, and then all of a sudden I realized she looked like she's going to cry, and she said, "That's my mom." I'm like, oops. Well, I'm sure she's a lovely human being at home. She's just a total see you next Tuesday in school. She really was, because she kept lying to me, and I couldn't understand a damn word she said. And I kept asking her, can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I'm not getting it. I'm like, here trying to take notes, and I don't understand a word you say. I'm like, how long have you been in this country? And like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to understand, like, why is your accent so thick and I don't get your English? And she's like, I've been here 26 years. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I couldn't understand her after 26 years. Like, her accent was so thick. Like, I'm like, oh my God. And what's funny is now I understand the Russian accent a lot better than I did, but I don't know what her accent was, but it was, maybe she wasn't even Russian, but it just drove me crazy. I couldn't understand her, and I got a D because of it. And I was so mad. I was like, oh my God, like, could you have not taken a pronunciation class? Did not anybody complain about your accent in the last 26 years? Because looking around the room, out of like 50 people in the room, there was like 40 that did not understand a word this woman said. And it was like insane. I was just like, oh my God. There goes my perfect record, which it wasn't perfect, but it was a hell of a lot better than a D. So it tanked my GPA. But I've thought about this a lot. Like, it's been since 1994 I've thought about this. Like, God, what can you say to a prospective employer when they're like, well, I'm looking at your transcripts here. What the hell happened? Why'd you get a D in this class? It's like, 'cause I don't understand certain accents. If I'd only taken the German guy, maybe I would have gotten it. But it was just part of I don't learn by hearing. I learn by reading, by seeing, by doing. Some people learn by hearing, but I don't learn by hearing and then adding to that the accent. There's no effing way. Just like, I could barely understand people that speak English. For some reason, I understand the Spanish accent. Anyone from any Spanish-speaking country, but if they're speaking English with any kind of a Spanish accent, like Colombian or Mexican or Peruvian, for the most part, I understand it perfectly. But certain, I don't know why it is, but certain Asian accents, like Chinese, Indonesian, even Balinese, Thailand, Thai, I understand all these accents, but Eastern Bloc, I have a hard time. I don't know why. I just have a hard time understanding that accent. In Germany, for some reason, and it's just weird. I just know that I can't. I'm like, always like, what? I'm sorry, what? I don't understand you, what? I just feel so dumb, like I don't get it. But, like I'm sure a lot of people don't get my accent. When I speak Spanish, half the people get me and half the people don't. In some countries, like in Colombia, everybody got my accent because I learned how to speak Spanish from a woman who's from Colombia. But all the different Spanish accents are different too. But like I have a really hard time with Cuenca Ecuadorian accents. The costeños, they have a different accent. I understand them fine. So strange. But I realize, and I've been realizing in my later years, in the last few years, it's okay that I'm not perfect. I broke my leg. I walk with a limp. But you know what? That adds a little bit of character. It's fine. It's like, all right, cool, And I don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to be perfect. And, maybe you, feel like you're okay in all areas, and then there's like one area that you're feeling like, oh God, like I've got the job, I've got the career, I've got the money, I was able to buy myself a house, but I just can't find love, and I don't feel perfect, I don't feel lovable. Maybe I need to make myself perfect. You don't, you're fine. You just didn't find the right person yet. Or maybe you have a perfect relationship and everything is wonderful, and and your career is going okay, but you're not making the money you want. You're not perfect at the level of where you want to be money-wise. That's just, you got to work on your psychology. It's really weird, but psychology is a huge component in making the amount of money you want to make. I mean, right now it's a problem with coronavirus and the quarantine. I've been stuck in the house for 7 months, and I get it. It's hard you can't, if you've lost your job and you're on unemployment, which is a lot less money you normally make. I know, I get it. It's freaking hard. But don't let the perfectionism stop you in your tracks, because, if you wanted to teach, don't wait till you're perfect at it. Don't wait till your face looks good or your body looks good to be on camera. Don't wait until you're, you got your teaching style down perfect. It's okay. I mean, you guys have been listening to my show for over 500 episodes now. Tonight is episode 159 of season 2. I did 364 episodes in season 1. So am I perfect? Hell no. I'll be reading a word and I'll look at a word and say a completely different word. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? I know what that word is. And I'll go back and reread it, I flub my way through my episodes sometimes. I don't remember some things. Sometimes I say, I say, I'm not perfect. But a lot of you are listening to me anyway. And I'm okay with that. Because I'm human and I make mistakes, and I'm genuine and I'm authentic. And it's okay if you are too. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you. So don't let the perfection problem, it is a problem. Don't let the perfection problem pummel you into a place of fear, and don't let it stop you and hold you back. You have to push past the perfectionism and get into a point in a place where you can be happy with your imperfection. Sometimes imperfection is beautiful. I've met people who had really serious flaws, in the way that they look, and they were really at my friend Ashton. He was in, oh my god, it's a terrible story, but he was training for the Olympics, and a lot of people in Santa Barbara, they go there because the year-round great weather, and they can train for the Olympics there. So I met a lot of Olympic athletes there when I lived there for 7 years, and I met Ashton there, and he had been given all kinds of scholarships for, like, he was perfect at basketball, he was perfect at baseball, he was perfect at football, and he got like a triple scholarship or something. This guy was like an all-around athlete, and he was always riding his bike, he was always jogging, he was always exercising, and I mean, my God, was he gorgeous. Holy crap, he was so beautiful. So beautiful. Like, his body's absolutely, well, perfect. And he let it go to his head, and he was one of those kinds of people who kind of let their looks kind of get them everything they want in life. They had a smooth ride, right? This was Ashton. He had this attitude of, well, my parents have money, we came up out of the hood. You know, his parents had been in Compton, and they were poor. They like, it was a really bad neighborhood, and they got themselves out of Compton. And they ended up both, one is a doctor, one is a psychologist. No, a lawyer and a psychologist. So I think I did mention his story before, but one day he was riding his bike, and this racist dickbag saw him and felt like he didn't deserve to be on a bicycle in the middle of the street. And so he hit him with like his freaking Bentley or something. Like, he had this really incredibly like expensive car, and he ran my friend over, and it made it, and he landed on his face, his beautiful face, and his face slid down half the side of his face, while the other half of his face remained perfect. Oh my God, he was so handsome. And when I first saw him, I was like, oh my God, I've never seen that kind of injury before. And then I would hear him speak in class, and he was so freaking smart. And I was like, wow, this guy's got it going on. He's really smart, and he's obviously athletic. And then one day he asked me for my notes, or if we could like study together, because I had a little bit higher grade than him. He had like a B and I had an A in this theater class, and we decided to do homework together. We became best of friends, and after a couple weeks, I didn't even notice his face anymore. But he had to get reconstructive surgery every 6 months for like 12 years. It was that bad, and that was just so his mouth would match up on each side, and his nose would match up, and his eye was drooping halfway down his face. It was like really bad, and people treated him different. I watched cops pull him over all the time. I watched, and we went to a theater, dinner theater, and we were asked to leave. And I'm like, is this because he's black? Because I'm going to call the ACLU and the news. And before this evening is finished, the news team will be here to take your statement on why you're such a racist asshole. And the owner's like, very well then, very well then. I'm like, I'm going to have this place shut down because that is illegal. And, this is not 1950 in Dallas. This is, Santa Barbara in California in the 90s. So you know what? You're in the wrong here, dude. I was like, what do you think? My friend who's wearing a suit and fancy jewelry, he comes from, his parents have money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you could kick anyone out, kick me out because I'm poor, right? Like this kid's got money, and he's more intelligent than you. Guaranteed, he's more intelligent than me, So like, and the guy was like, oh, well, very well then. Okay. I was just like, I can't, but we needed to stay for the stupid dinner theater to write a report and do our homework. And we had to do our homework together because they asked us to do it in pairs. And we were just like, oh my God, like he just looked at me and said, this is the kind of crap I go through all the time. I'm black, so I must be dangerous. I must be a gang member. I must, but then also my facial injury, and I told him one day, I said, I have a feeling you got away with everything because you were so damned good looking, and you could get women, you could just do whatever you want. And he said, yeah, you know what? You're right. I had a big fat ego. I go, what about now? And he goes, I have to work a lot harder in life. I go, what do you feel about what happened to you? He goes, oh, I hate the guy that did this to me, but you know what? I'm learning so many lessons in life from it, and it's humbled me. And now you see how hard I work for my education and for just getting through my day, so much more than when I was very good looking. And now I'm just like, I have to strive, and people don't automatically find me attractive, you know. And so that was like his struggle that he wore on his face. And I had like a deep amount of love and respect for him. But, you know, but he had that perfection thing. And then when that was taken away from him, he was just like, okay, I got to work on myself in other ways, you know. And that happened to me too. Like, I always had asthma. That was my thing, but it was an invisible thing. No one could really see it unless they saw me taking my inhaler, you know. And then the dyslexia thing too, that's like not visible. And it wasn't until I got very, very sick that people were able to see that I wasn't feeling good. And then I broke my leg, and that's like another thing. So I've given up the idea of being perfect for years and years now. It's like, no, you know what? I'm just me. I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to give you guys the information about my world and my life, even if it's not perfect, because you know what? Screw it. Life is too short to pretend to be something you're not, and to ruin your chances of ever being authentic and able to connect with the people around you and with what you really want. So, you know what? Go teach a class. So what if you're not perfect? What if you stumble through your notes and you're terrible the first day? You'll be better the second day. You'll be better the fourth day. By the 8th day, you're going to be perfect. I mean, as best as you can be. Maybe not perfect, but things are going to be good, you know? And, you know, go on dates even if you feel like you're not good looking enough or not perfect enough, because you know what? It doesn't matter. You can never say the wrong thing to the right person. You can never say the right thing to the wrong person, right? You could look perfect and still no one will like you. You know, it's weird. It's just, it's an energetic thing usually. It's, you know, so the looks, it's like such a big thing that has been a big thing for centuries, you know. But just think, like a couple hundred years ago, if you were fat, you were perfect. And now it's the opposite. In fact, now it's kind of, you know, if you're in the middle, you're fine. But it's like the standards of beauty, you know. And but people have always been so scared of not fitting those models. I mean, can you imagine 200 years ago when the standard of beauty is to be fat? How many people are like, I can't afford enough food. I can never be beautiful enough. I mean, how insane is that? It's completely crazy. So I'm asking you guys just to give up all the ideas of being perfect in all the possible ways that you think you need to be perfect, because you don't. You just need to be genuine and true blue to yourself, authentic and genuine for those around you. That's the only way you're going to be a shining example for, you know, the future generations, for your own children, for your family and friends. And you're going to inspire people being you way more than just trying to perfect everything. You know, I mean, I know I could sit in my house and write lists all damn day, but that's not going to pay the bills. So you know what? I'm going to learn all I can and go get a job to teach probably children in China English, because they pay better. You know, but also I think it will be a rewarding experience. I found a company that will, if they hire me, they will teach me Chinese, Mandarin. That's like such a huge challenge. And it's a language I always wanted to learn, because the Chinese culture to me is super, super fascinating. So, hey, maybe one day. I met someone from China, from mainland China, a couple days ago, and he was writing me on WhatsApp, and his English was absolutely perfect. I was really actually shocked by that. And then he said one word that wasn't perfect. And you know what? I just let it fly. I'm not going to say anything, because he's trying, and it's like, this guy's got guts, you know, because it takes a lot to try to speak a second language. You know, it's really, and for him to put himself in a customer service position And I bet he speaks more than two. I think he probably speaks 3 or 4 languages, because it's an international company he works for. They sell the coolest tents I've ever seen in my life. They're round. They're like dome tents. And they're based on the Buckminster Fuller shape, the buckyballs. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's absolutely incredible. This shape will withstand snow, will withstand, you can insulate it. It's like a 4-season, year-round tent. It's like the technology is like incredible. I was like, oh my God. I could live in that thing forever. But I was asking him the price. And I was like, wow, this is really kind of cool. It'd be neat for a tiny house. Or what if I bought a little teeny tiny lot on the beach? I could just live in that tent forever. And I'm like, I want to know how much it's cost. It sounds like fun. But I was just curious. I get curious about a lot of different things, obviously. That's why I'm doing the show, because I want to share my curiosities with you guys. But, all right. Before we get to space weather news, I want to let you know what's going on in the second half. I'm going to share with you some research I've done over the past week on things that will kill viruses, including the you-know-who virus, the virus that shall not be named, and bacteria and fungus and all kinds of things. I found technology that will kill these things, that will not harm you, will not harm your environment, your pets, won't leave chemicals around that can cause cancer, things that will actually kill the coronavirus. Will kill everything. And it's been proven by scientists in labs the world over. And some of the stuff is going to maybe amaze you if you did not know the information. And I'm going to try to get to you information on how do you get this technology into your home. And some of these things cost less than $30. Some of them cost less than $20. So I'm gonna tell you guys that after the break. So I just want everyone to be healthy and safe, so that we can continue to ascend and work on ourselves spiritually, and not have to worry so much about the virus stuff, because it's really it's too scary. It's too depressing. Like, every time I get a delivery, my son and I just look at each other and we're like, this could be it. This could be, if we one false move, we could slip up, get the virus, and die. There goes our life. There goes our dreams. We just kind of look at each other like, damn, this could be it. So we put on our face mask before we open the door. We have the spray bottle of, I hate the alcohol so much. I hate the smell of it, but it's so disgusting. I'm so over it. So it's what made me start to look towards technology that's going to help us. And I'm going to talk about that after the break. Okay, let's go over to spaceweather.com though, because a lot of stuff is going on, you guys. So here we go. The current solar wind speed is 343.3 kilometers per second. Excuse me. There's that asthma again. All right. There's a brand new sunspot on the sun. It's provisionally numbered AR2772. It is growing, and it's kind of in the middle of the sun, above the equator of the sun right now. They're calling it sunspot number 12. So we haven't had a whole lot of sunspots this year. I mean, oh my God, we're in the 8th month and we're only on the 12th sunspot. It's kind of weird. So what they say here on spaceweather.com, a CME is coming. I talked about this yesterday. We're going to get a coronal mass ejection. And it is a slow motion solar flare. And it left the sun on the 16th of August. And it's on its way. It'll be here. It's going to take 4 days to get here. it took hours for it to leave. It's really strange, and did not come from a sunspot, because we had no sunspots at the time. So it's a weird sun anomaly. So there's that. Also, researchers have predicted we're going to have a massive surge of cosmic rays. Cosmic rays are bad, and they're going to get worse. That is what a new study just said in the research journal called Space Weather. They say during the next solar cycle, we could see cosmic rays increase up to 75%. That's according to the author Fatima Ramanifard of the University of New Hampshire's Space Science Center. So she says this will limit the amount of time that astronauts can work safely in interplanetary space. And cosmic rays are the bane of astronauts, obviously, and they come from deep space energetic particles that are hurled in all directions by supernova explosions and other violent space events. No amount of spacecraft shielding could ever stop most of the energetic cosmic waves. This leaves astronauts exposed whenever they leave the Earth-Moon system. So they're talking about this. There's a whole article here if you want to read it. But they're talking about how this could stop, planetary exploration of, say, Mars. It might stop all Mars missions. It's really scary. It's really bad. So we have to keep our wits about us. And I wish I could say just stay inside, you'll be fine. But it goes through all materials. Like, there's no stopping it. So we're kind of stuck with it. Just take your vitamins, eat your vegetables, and sleep and drink a lot of water, and keep praying, keep focusing, keep meditating. Don't be afraid of it, because it's God's universe and he knows what he's doing. So I'm not personally too worried about it, but it can affect you, and it can make you sleepy and affected. That's what's causing the ascension symptoms, I think. The solar winds, the cosmic radiation, all kinds of stuff. The Schumann Resonance, I think, is affected by all these other things. Anyway, right now, speaking of the space age, the percentage of the space age average of cosmic radiation, the neutron counts coming out of Oulu, Finland, they're saying that we're at 9.5%. We're at a high level right now of receiving cosmic radiation. 9.5% of the space age average, so it's kind of high. There are aurora borealises in the upper half of the United States. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that's only Canada in the Arctic Circle. So if you're in those areas, you could see possibly New York, actually, just the upper part of the U.S. over to the East Coast. You might be able to see some aurora borealis in the air. The noctilucent clouds have been retreating, but they're still present, again, in the Arctic Circle area. The coronal hole, still with the brushing of the Earth on the 18th and 19th, which is today and tomorrow. So we are getting solar radiation right now, solar winds. And as far as the All-Sky Fireball Network and NASA's All-Sky cameras, they scan the skies above the United States for meteoritic fireballs, and today they discovered 49 fireballs over the U.S. 33 were sporadic, 13 were Perseids, 3 were Southern Delta Aquarids. You could read more on spaceweather.com about these and other awesome sciencey, spacey things. Now, I don't know why. I had it all queued up, and now the disclosurenews.it website went back to yesterday. Now it went back. All right. Basically, they just have the Schumann Resonance today coming out of Italy. The big peaks have only been 18 hertz frequency and 20 hertz frequency. And not a lot going on over there. Now, it's a different story, though, at heartmath.org. And now this is from, mind you, 2 days ago, from Sunday, at the 2300 hours, so about 18 hours ago. Oh my God, California was huge. They were at 386 hertz frequency in California, while Hafuf, Saudi Arabia, and Alberta, Canada both remained at 0. Lithuania was at 114 hertz frequency. Northland, New Zealand was at 57 hertz frequency. And last but not least, Hulului, South Africa was at 105 hertz frequency on the Schumann Resonance scale. Keeping in mind that for like 50 years, the Schumann Resonance was at 7.83 hertz frequency. So when we're seeing numbers like 386, damn, something's going on. And I'm going to tell you it's because we're in the fifth dimension, which starts at 40 hertz frequency. Now, I'm going to tell you, now in California, it looks like the number was a little bit higher. I'm trying to see. Yeah, it went up to 395. Let's see here. Damn, it was at the 1900 hour on the 16th, it was 395 hertz frequency in California. That's huge. That's huge. That is statistically and scientifically significant. All right. Now back to spirituality. All right. We have 4 minutes remaining in this section of the introduction. Okay. The Foundation for Inner Peace can be found at acim.org. ACIM, of course, stands for A Course in Miracles. So we like to go from philosophical to science to spirituality and with a lot of metaphysics thrown in there, just peppered in there. All right, so we are on lesson 358. We're coming down to the wire. I think next week we'll be done with the 365 episodes, or the 365 lessons of A Course in Miracles. So let's get to it. Lesson 358 is this: no call to God can be unheard nor left unanswered. And of this I can be sure. His answer is the one I really want. No call to God can be unheard nor left unanswered. And of this I can be sure. His answer is the one I really want. You who remember what I really am, alone remember what I really want. You speak for God, and so you speak for me. And what you give me comes from God Himself. Your voice, my Father, then is mine as well, and all I want is what you offer me, in just the form you choose, that it be mine. Let me remember all I do not know, and let my voice be still remembering. But let me not forget your love and care, keeping your promise to your Son in my awareness always. Let me not forget myself is nothing, but myself is all. In that sentence, myself is one word, all lowercase, but when it says myself is all, that's with a capital S. That means when you're in union with your higher self and you are in union with God. No call to God can be unheard nor left unanswered, and of this I can be sure. His answer is the one I really want. So again, that's acim.org. And that's it for now, guys. I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we're going to go over all the new technologies that we can use to keep ourselves safe from the viruses, bacteria, fungi, yeast, and molds in our world. We're not going to let those little bastards win right after this message. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Happy August, guys. I wanted to extend to you my birthday special. I was born this month and I wanted to do something for you guys. Normally, my readings are $111 for a tarot reading or a psychic mediumship reading. That means I can basically help you talk to any of your deceased loved ones, your higher self, even God himself, or any of the ascended masters that you've always wanted to have a conversation with. What you need to do is just contact me at mermaidgirl888 on Instagram. Just direct message me and let me know you're interested in having the birthday special $88 reading. That is $33 less than my normal price. And as always, my cloud readings are also available at $33. So there you have it. Happy August. I look forward to hearing from you. Alright guys, I'm going to try to get through this in a way that is all super understandable for you. My notes are hard for me to read, but luckily you don't have to read my notes because they're not perfect. To continue on a theme from the first half. Alright. We are living in a world in which most of us are under quarantine. There is a global pandemic, which is a massive crisis going on. It's not just coronavirus either. There are other things coming up, new viruses. And also, and I should mention, there's some bug-related issues. I'm not going to go into that. But I might get into it a little bit on how to, deter the bugs from your life. Actually, if I have time, I'll go into it. Otherwise, I'll talk about that on another day. But, okay, so, we want to decontaminate our environments in a way that our children and our pets are not going to get sick. They're not going to die. They're not going to ingest accidentally chemicals that are kept or left under the sink or in the garage, right? I mean, this stuff is scary as hell. So I have been doing a lot of research on this because I was interested in finding a different way, because my son and I were spraying bleach everywhere when the pandemic first broke out. of course, terrified. We put plastic up on the windows. We're spraying bleach everywhere. And the whole environment smelled like chlorine. Smelled like we were living inside the YMCA swimming pool room. And we were like breathing in chlorine. And I'm like, this can't be good for us. I want to open a damn window. My son's like, no, we'll switch to something else. So he bought alcohol, rubbing alcohol. And he started spraying alcohol everywhere. And after a while, my muscles started to get very tense. And I started having headaches. And I started getting really sick. And I started feeling like it's killing me. It's killing me, Smalls. And one day, my son had sprayed bleach on something and ran out of bleach. Then he poured rubbing alcohol in the same container without rinsing it out, not thinking, but scared that, the groceries we just bought and hauled up through the window in our apartment that we used to live in. 3 stories up, we were hauling crap up with a rope because we were scared to leave the house. The people in the hallway were coughing. It was terrible. Some of you guys remember this, from a few months back because you were listening to the show then. But he sprayed rubbing alcohol and he got kind of woozy and he said, I think I might have passed out for a minute. We looked it up and oh my God, the 2 things that people normally spray in their homes when combined in the same area creates a 3rd compound called chloroform. I can only laugh about it because my son is alive and he's safe and he's well and he doesn't have any diseases that was caused by this chemical mishap. So I want you guys to avoid chemical mishaps. Spraying bleach, you're going to discolor everything around you, including your clothes. But spraying alcohol, I have heard a lot of bad things about rubbing alcohol, even though it does work. 70% alcohol works, rubbing alcohol works to disinfect and kill the coronavirus because it breaks the cell wall, penetrates the virus and kills it, renders it inert, and it will stay on the surfaces longer because there's more water in it and it takes longer to evaporate. Rubbing alcohol that is 95% does not work. So I'm going to say that again. If you are going to use this, and I do recommend it, but in a very well ventilated area, and do wear your mask indoors when you're spraying crap with this. It's affecting my asthma every time. I get a headache every time. My son sprays this and I'm just like, oh my God. And my muscles start to seize up. Okay? It's causing me a lot of problems physically. So I hate using this crap. I really hate it. But, when you get your groceries delivered, spray the outside of the bags. If you can, wear gloves and then take them off immediately and throw them away. And that's one way. Or take the bags off and immediately don't touch your face with your hands. Run to the bathroom and grab that soap. Because soap, the oil in soap, will help break down the outer wall of the coronavirus, and it will help you just wash it on down the sink. Inert again. So, but I was worried about all the chemical stuff, so that's how this whole thing began. And then mixing bleach with the alcohol turns into chloroform, and holy crap. That makes you pass out, man. This is not good. Not good. So we want to decontaminate, and there are 2 ways to decontaminate your environment. Number 1 is to sterilize, and sterilization is a complete killing of all the microorganisms. And the second way to decontaminate is disinfection. And when you disinfect, what you're doing is you're eliminating or reducing all of the harmful microorganisms on surfaces and all around. You render them inert, and they're still there, but they're kind of broken in pieces, or they can't reproduce, so nothing's going to come of it. But with sterilization, it's like everything's completely killed. So, all right, I took a lot of notes here, and I also have to go to several websites as well. I mean, it's a lot of information, so I'm hoping we can get through it quickly and get through it within under an hour. All right, so technology to kill germs and microbes. Now, when I say microbes and germs, I mean bacteria, viruses, and in most cases, mold, fungi, yeasts like candida, and even like the viruses that cause warts too. Like, I have a plantar wart on my foot. It has been there for freaking ever. And I just read something today that makes me feel like I'm going to have to, I think I have a new way of killing it, like getting rid of it forever. It's like really ridiculous. It's been there since I was a teenager, and it's like I cut it out and then it comes back. It's like, what the hell? So anyway, so technology to kill germs. The number one thing that I've discovered is ultraviolet light. Now, there's some problems with ultraviolet light in that if you look at it directly, it's like looking at the sun, and you're going to go blind, so don't look at it, which is like really hard because it's a really beautiful purpley blue. It's like, oh my gosh, so pretty. Don't go towards the light. Don't look at the light. Step away from the light. Avoid the light at all costs. There is several spectrums of UV light, and full spectrum UV is what comes out of the sun. That's why you can get tan and get pretty little freckles, and also you can get cancer on your skin. Also, it can make you go blind. So don't ever stare directly in the sun. Don't spend a lot of time in the sun. But UV light. So check this out. High intensity ultraviolet light, or UVC, is an entire disinfecting spectrum. Okay? It will kill germs, it kills viruses, it kills everything in its path that the light touches. So, if you put your shoes next to a UV light and you turn it on and you race out of the room before the light actually starts to glow, then you're only going to kill what's on the surface of the shoes facing the light. Then you got to go back after it's finished, turn the shoes over, and get the bottom part. So wherever the light goes is where, where the light flows is where the germs are killed. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of get through that, to use that. So what happens with this is that this energy will pass through the cell walls of the bacteria, destroying the nucleic acid and the DNA inside of the bacteria and viruses. The DNA gets disrupted, and the UVC light will kill and inactivate the microorganisms, and thereby preventing reproduction, which is good because if a virus can't reproduce, it can't hurt you. It just dies, and that's it. So ways to get UV light, you could literally just buy a UV light. That noise that you heard in my bathroom, it came from my bathroom. We put stuff in the bathroom. It's a sterilized environment because we turn on the UV light. And so I have like on my sink, I'll put coffee. I have like a bag of coffee that's sealed in a plastic bag, and then in another plastic bag, and I just put that in there, and I just put it on top of the plastic bag it came in, and then go wash my hands, of course, and I turn on the light, and it just kills all of the UV light. I mean, the UV light kills all the germs, all the virus, all the everything. So then we know now that we can open the coffee, it's safe to drink, everything is fine. And the other thing with this UV light is that the one that I found also has ozone. So it's an ozone generator mixed with UV light. So it's two ways of killing germs and virus. We're going to get to ozone next. So UV light you can also get in a wand, And also there is on wish.com. You can also go to the Wish app, and it takes like up to 2 months to get these things. But I've been buying stuff from them. And I haven't got this yet, but I really want it. You know, you guys have heard of the Roomba, the little robotic vacuum? Well, they have a new one that's not called a Roomba, so you have to look up a robot vacuum, and maybe robot vacuum aromatherapy. So check it out. Remember when I was telling you that aromatherapy, essential oils can kill germs, right? So there's like a little place on top where you add a little bit of water with aromatherapy, and underneath the robot vacuum, as it goes around your house sweeping up everything, it also puts UV light out underneath the vacuum. So it kills all the germs on the surface of your floor while sweeping up the germs after it's killed it. And then in the air, you're getting the aromatherapy, which makes your environment smell nice and also kills anything. I mean, if you did tea tree or eucalyptus, that's going to kill like all the germs. Lavender, especially tea tree, it has been known to kill streptococcus and staphylococcus. There have been actual medical studies on this, or scientific research. So, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard that horrible article of that lady who was a complete moron and took essential oils like 7 times a day, 3, 4, 5 drops every hour or 3 while she was awake. Like, oh my God, her company said she could do it. So she went ahead and believed him and didn't do any further research. When I did my article on aromatherapy, my episode last week, I was shocked the very next day when this thing came out of her getting boils in her skin, and she looked like she'd been poured, molten lava over her, or whatever her weird little description was. Boils and whatever. It's very, very, essential oils can be very dangerous, okay? So when I tell you to do the little Roomba thing, do it like once a day, once every other day. Don't be ingesting it and putting it on things and putting it everywhere and smelling it constantly. This is something that you use very, very limitedly. Very limitedly. Like no more than twice a day, no more than 1 or 2 drops at a time, and that's it, period. Essential oils can be very dangerous. And if you use them more than a week, if you use one specific oil, use it for a week, and then don't use it for another week or 2. Use a different one, but don't constantly put it on your skin. Don't constantly put it in your body. It could, some essential oils are very dangerous. Some of them can kill you. Now essential oils are all under investigation by the FDA because of this woman being dumb, not being intelligent about this. So I did mention the safety thing, but I wanted to mention it again, because I'm mentioning the fake Roomba that you can get that will put the aromatherapy in the air and kill the germs at the UV light. It's exciting technology. Plus, hey, it's sweeping your floor for you. Oh my God, saves you time. You just charge it overnight and let that sucker go around the house while you're at work. You come home to a clean, fresh smelling environment. Yay. Win, win, win. I mean, if you're allowed to leave the house and still have a job and all that. Okay, so the next technology is ozone. Check this out, guys. Ozone kills bacteria 3,200 times faster than chlorine bleach. Ozone kills bacteria 3,200 times faster than chlorine bleach. That's incredible, isn't it? So, okay, what is ozone? Okay, so you've heard of oxygen. That is the element that's on the periodic table. And the oxygen that we breathe is, okay, so oxygen just on the periodic table is just O, okay? But the oxygen that we breathe is O2. It's 2 oxygens hooked together. And that's the oxygen that we use to, stay alive, basically. But when we breathe our air, it's not pure oxygen. It's 20% oxygen, 79% nitrogen, carbon, and then the rest is carbon dioxide, which is usually what we also breathe out. We don't utilize carbon dioxide. Trees and plants breathe in carbon dioxide. We're very synergistic. It's wonderful to be surrounded by plants because they put out oxygen for you. So anyway, what's the rest of what's in our air is carbon dioxide and other inert gases like argon and neon. And now oxygen, when it is O2, but when another oxygen molecule is added to that, it becomes O3. And O3 is ozone. And ozone is exciting. It can disinfect your environment. It will sterilize your environment. And this is how. It rapidly oxidizes organic materials, including iron and manganese. So they use it to disinfect water. Okay? So anyway, ozone disinfects viruses, bacteria, and other microbes. And it is a light bluish gas. You can easily smell it, and it gets into everything. I've got this ozone generator that is in the same unit as the UV light. So we put it in a room, we shut the door, we turn it on, shut the door, and run away, and we never look at it until it beeps. Then we know it's safe to go back in that environment. And we wait 30 minutes for the ozone to dissipate. Okay, now ozone is, because it's O3, it is an unstable gas. And what happens is after 30 to 40 minutes, the oxygen, the O2 will, okay, so it's like three oxygens, and one of the oxygens will break off, and then it goes, then goes back to O2 and just O1. And then you have one O1 and another O1, basically. Two molecules of oxygen. They're unstable when it's 3, and they're unstable when it's 1, and they couple up. Just, hey, hook up, Netflix and chill, baby. You got the oxygen that creates more oxygen. So ozone will create more oxygen in your environment, but you cannot breathe the ozone in. It's not safe. You got to wait until it's created itself into oxygen, which takes 40 minutes to do that. But then, hey, more oxygen for me, baby. It's nice because I live at 8,400 feet above sea level. Not a whole hell of a lot of oxygen going on up here. So it feels nice to have an ozone generator in the house. I always make sure that there's a ventilation, that we don't have it. We never have this in the same room that we're in. And we do have a clean room. We have 2 clean rooms in our house. Where I don't mean like the rest of the house is messy. I don't mean like that. But disinfected fully, where we disinfect the room, and then we use that light to disinfect things that come into the house. And if we have food, we have upstairs, we have a 3rd bedroom. And on the bed, we put a clean sheet, and we put all of the food items, and we put so if we buy cookies from a neighbor or something, we'll put the ozone and UV light, we'll turn it on, we'll leave for 15 minutes, we wait another 30 minutes, and we come back, and such a bummer, the fresh, hot, baked cookies are not hot anymore, but they are disinfected, no more coronavirus, there's no germs, and sometimes eliminate some of the scent of the cookie, which is sad, but it's better to be safe than sorry in this day of quarantine. So this is what we do. Now, in the United States and Europe, and also in Sweden, they've been using ozone to disinfect drinking water. And you've heard of the ozone layer. This is around the earth that protects us. It's a protective shield from the UV radiation. So ironically, I have a thing that does both UV radiation and ozone in my bathroom right now. Very strange, but it does work to kill germs. So let's see here. The sun itself is very strong UV radiation, and it does produce O3. Also, thunderstorms with lightning produces O3 or ozone. So it's very much a part of our environment. It's already there, and it doesn't last long. You've smelled ozone after I'm sure after there's been a lot of lightning and thunder, and then you smell this strange smell, and it's like, whoa, what is that? That's weird. And it only happens after you're either smelling the negative ions or you are smelling the ozone. All right, so let's see. The next thing I'm going to talk about is negative ions, okay? Have you ever been to the beach and the waves are crashing upon the shore, and what happens during that moment is, I don't know exactly scientifically, I used to know this, but as the salt water crashes against the sand, what is released in that moment is negative ions. And that's why if you've ever been to the beach, you start to feel really happy and kind of giddy. You just feel like, yeah, I feel really freaking good right now. Oh my God. And that's what's happening, is the negative ions are affecting you. And they're very good, even though they're called negative, they're actually positive for you. And if you've ever been into a stuffy, horrible environment where you feel lethargic and you feel terrible and you feel like you just want to go home and die, usually office buildings that are stuffy, especially if there's a lot of like the heaters on and it's too hot and maybe it's winter and you're just like, and you can't open a window. That's because of the positive ions in the atmosphere, and positive ions are negative for you. So it's kind of like ass backwards. But it's the negative ions are the ones that you want. You could buy a negative ion generator, and check this out. Not only a giant unit you plug into your wall, and in Las Vegas they use ozone and they use negative ion generators to combat all the cigarette smoke. So if you've ever gone into, and also the negative ions will keep people feeling upbeat and happy so they could keep gambling all night long. That's a little secret from Reno and Vegas and any casino you've ever been to. They probably smell good. You don't smell cigarette smoke, but you might see people smoking, and it's like, how the hell can I not smell that? It's ozone and negative ions. So, all right, let me look for this. I had this, oh my goodness, I'm looking for it. I had a really cool article. Here we go, I got it. I had an article about negative ions. I wanted to talk to you guys about this. InspiredLiving.com has an article on this. How negative ions purify the air. Okay, normally there's a balance of positive and negative ions in the air you breathe, and it's affected by influences in your environment in much the same way that you are. So it can be, affected depending on if you're at the ocean, there's going to be a lot more negative ions. If you're in the mountains, there'll be less. If you're in the desert, maybe there'll be more positive. I don't know. I don't freaking know the rest of the environments. I do know about the beach, though. So, ions are negative, or I'm not negative, sorry. Ions are natural particles in the air that have either positive or negative charge. And they get the charge by losing or gaining electrons. Negative ions are the good guys. They are oxygen atoms that have gained an extra electron. So they're not quite O3, but they're O2, and they'll be like with a negative, because that's that negative charge, right? With the negative sign, basically. It's not like the actual things have a negative sign on them, but that's how we represent it in like chemistry class. So they attach themselves, negative ions attach themselves to airborne particles, including dust, pollen, smoke, and dander of animals, and it causes them to drop down from the air onto the floor immediately, or the ground. Now, nature provides positive and negative ions in abundance, but when it comes to feeling good, what we really need is those negative ions, okay? Now, on Wish, I also found this, and you could look at other places, maybe eBay, Amazon. I think Gaiam had a catalog for a while, Gaiam.com. You can probably go look. Hammacher, Schlemmer, and the Sharper Image, they have these too. There's a little necklace you hang on it looks like a lanyard that you put around your neck, and it's like probably 2 or 3 inches across in both directions. It's like a square, and it's a negative ion generator, a personal negative ion generator. And this, I'm telling you guys, you charge it up at night, you wear it around your neck, and as you're going about your day, if you're a nurse or a doctor, this will kill all the germs. It will drop everything, including the coronavirus. It'll just take it away from you immediately. If you have allergies, if you are allergic to dander, pollen, any crap in the environment, a negative ion generator that you wear around your neck might just save your life. In fact, I ordered one for my son and myself so that we can kill any germs or virus or fungi, mold, yeast, anything that comes our way. That crap is going to be gone in a matter of seconds because of that electronic charge. That like extra electron grabs onto it and drops it to the ground. It's like a little soldier just like wrestles it to the ground, and you're like, yay, my hero. I'm just kidding. It's not like we could see them, but it's what happens. But waterfalls, oceans, surf, this is where you find negative ions, as well as lightning. So not only do lightning put off ozone, they also put off the negative ions. 2 wonderful things to kill germs. That's why after a thunder and lightning and rainstorm, everything's pretty much washed away, and it feels cleaner. The air feels more pure because it is, which is awesome. All right, let me check this. Okay, I want to see where I'm at. Okay, it says we're at 28 minutes. All right, so negative ions are also found in mountains and forests, and all plants do give off ions. So when you have clean natural air, you'll find a lot of negative ions. So when the air is easy and fresh to breathe, that's what you're breathing in. Now, if there's pollutants in the air, it's positive ions. So pollution, smog, traffic contamination in the air, that's going to put out positive ions, which are, again, negative for you. So let's see. They did talk about an article here called The Reduction of Microbial Air Pollution in a Dental Clinic by Ionization, which is getting a negative ion generator going. So let's see here. Negative ions also can be produced actively by high voltage electricity that is run through metal needles. And that's called needlepoint ionization, not to be confused with making needlepoint pillow art. I've never heard of this. It's very odd. So passively, as a byproduct of when ozone is created by coronal discharge or UV light. So again, with the ozone and the UV light combined, which you also get in lightning. It's all natural, but you could get machines to duplicate this so that you can utilize the power of lightning and waterfalls inside your home without having an actual waterfall or lightning inside your house. That's not good for the cats or the babies. So, all right. It goes on to say more about this, but I want to get to the next thing here. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything more. Yeah, there's not a lot more to this article here. So, all right. Onward and upward. Now, the next thing I found, I don't know a lot about myself, okay? So I'm going to read this to you guys, and I'm going to learn with you. This is odd. I did not know about this, and there's a lot of different articles that I did not read, but there's plasma. Plasma. You can buy a machine that uses plasma to clean your environment. And according to an article on ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. Oh my God. Okay. Disinfection and sterilization using plasma technology. And they say it's kind of like a wave of the future. Recent studies have shown The plasma can efficiently inactivate microbial pathogens, which include bacteria, fungi, and viruses, in addition to degrading all toxins. Moreover, this technology is effective at inactivating pathogens on the surface of medical and dental devices, as well as agricultural products. This is exciting. These technology breakthroughs are exciting, and maybe they've been using them for a while and I didn't hear about this one yet. I know that negative ion generators, I've always had something like this in my home since as long as I can remember. And then I forgot about it when I started traveling. And I'm so grateful that I found this personalized ion generator. I'm like, oh yeah. But plasma, I don't know much about this. So I did want to mention, by the way, hydrogen peroxide, as far as something that will kill germs. Hydrogen peroxide will kill germs, and it's not nearly as toxic as rubbing alcohol or chlorine. It will kill most viruses and bacteria, and a concentration of 3% hydrogen peroxide is effective as a disinfectant, and it is typically found in most storage. I mean, it's like, 70-80 cents. Hydrogen peroxide can damage, though, some surfaces, so you have to be careful. I mean, it can make your clothes discolored. It can take varnish maybe off your furniture. I mean, be careful. Essential oils, aromatherapy can take varnish off your furniture, by the way. Be very careful, and don't ever put it on plastic, because it can also warp plastic. And also, don't ever put aromatherapy oils in cobalt blue bottles, because it will leach the cobalt out, which is radioactive. It's absolutely beautiful on a plate or in bottles, and it's safe as long as you don't get it you don't take those molecules out of the glass. And aromatherapy and UV light and possibly ozone can do that. So be careful if you do have a cobalt blue dishware around your house. I mean, you can have a UV light in one room and your blue plates in your other room. That's not going to ever create an issue. But I'm just saying, be careful. Don't store aromatherapy in a blue jar, for example. So if you ever go to the health food store and you see aromatherapy essential oils in a blue jar, do not buy it, because the cobalt might have leached out and you might be setting yourself up for cancer or toxic poisoning, by the way. A lot of people don't know that, but I do, so I'm passing the knowledge on to you. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know a lot about plasma. I haven't looked into it. I'm going to move on to the next thing so we get through it, and then I'm going to maybe pause this and look more into the plasma thing. Okay, but the next thing that I thought was very exciting, copper, guys, copper. First of all, if you are a redhead and you are losing your hair color, you need to take copper tablets. Not a lot, gotta be careful. They could be hard on the liver, but copper, oh my God. Copper will bring your hair color right back. And I said that, and did you guys hear that? I was not moving. I was not doing anything. I don't even know what that was. And that kind of scares me. My arm was on a cloth. I don't know what that noise was. That's very odd. All I heard was like a sound that's like, nope, that wasn't me. Because I make a different sound. I'm doing the show. I'm not in my bedroom. Because I didn't want the rats or aliens or whatever the hell's on my roof to be on the show. And now, I don't know what that noise was. Outside you hear this sound. That's a frog. Hopefully you can hear it. It's so cute. Anyway, copper is very, very exciting. In 4 hours, copper can kill SARS and COVID-19. So if you have a kitchen counter that's copper, if COVID-19 landed on it, it would be dead in 4 hours. Copper is absolutely fabulous. It does bring your red hair back. And it's in a lot of different foods, by the way. Copper comes in a lot of different things these days. You can get hats that have copper woven in the fiber, scarves that you can put around your face and your head. Can you imagine going out, and if COVID did land on you and you have that covering your head for 4 hours, and it's just a beautiful scarf, but it has those copper fibers woven in, it would actually kill the virus in 4 hours. It's exciting. Copper blankets, copper hats. There's even copper weighted blankets that feel like a lover is hugging you. It's so lovely. It's such a wonderful feeling. I don't know, I don't have one, but I saw the ads for one of these. I'm like, oh my God, it sounds amazing. You could just look this up again on Amazon, eBay, Wish.com. There's a lot of different places you can go and find a trustworthy place where you can, check out, make sure that there's a lot of high ratings for the seller, of course. If they have 5 stars and 100 or 200 sales already, you could trust them. For the most part, you probably can trust them. But copper blankets, they're weighted, will help you feel comfortable, and you never have to clean it. I mean, if something really bad happened, then you have to clean them. But overall, the germs are always being killed. It's awesome. So copper does kill fungus and warts, the virus that causes warts. It kills viruses, bacteria, algae. It kills algae and yeasts. In fact, I have put, I don't know if this is safe for my fish, but I used to have a goldfish, and I put a penny in there to kill any algae off of the rocks in his thing. Now looking back, maybe that wasn't the best thing. But I have had things with water in them that didn't have fish in them, and I'd always put a copper penny in there. I had a little fountain that I kept outside. It was like a little mermaid fountain my husband bought me for my birthday, and I loved it because I love mermaids. And I put a little copper penny in there, and it kept the water from getting all slimy and algerific. So just copper is really good for killing this stuff. So there's copper in all kinds of food. You can go look it up. It's in black tea and red tea. And just for your information, in case you have heard it and forgot it, I'm going to put this here. COVID-19 survival rates in the air, 3 hours. On copper surfaces, 4 hours. So in air, it'll just be dead in 3 hours. In copper, if it doesn't land on anything, it's dead in 3 hours in the air. On copper, if it lands on a copper surface, it's dead in 4 hours. So cardboard, it will live for 24 hours. COVID-19 will live on plastic and stainless steel for 48 to 72 hours. So 3 full days it can live on plastic. And guess what you bring your groceries into your house with? Plastic bags, right? It's up to 72 hours. So what my son and I do is we wear our masks, and we spray the hell out of those plastic bags on the outside, and we untie them and take all the stuff out, and we take the plastic bags, we put them to the side, and we don't touch them for more than 3 days. Sometimes we'll just leave them in the corner for a week. So kind of looks junky, but hey, it's better than getting sick. So we do spray them, and then we also keep them in the corner for a week just in case. And then we spray all of our food again with that stuff. And if it's food that's got holes, a basket of strawberries, we put that under the UV light, because it's and the ozone will kill all the germs as well. So it's we have it covered for the most part. But I wanted to tell you guys this stuff because this can be really, it could be really scary to think about all the chemicals. A lot of people are chemically sensitive. I know I am. And a lot of people are more so than I am, actually. And if that's you, I just want to give you some kind of hope. And that negative ion, that personal negative ion thing, if you're a frontliner and you're out there fighting, against the virus every day as a nurse or a doctor, or you love somebody who is, or you know somebody who is, tell them about this negative ion necklace. You charge it up with a UV charge. You just plug it into your computer or plug it into the wall with your cell phone charger, and it lasts like up to 8 hours on a single charge. So if maybe if you're a nurse and you're working 12 to 16 hour days, maybe you could have 2 of them, have one plugged in while you wear the other one, and then you could go back and change it out. I feel like this could be something that's revolutionary. And I would love to see this on pets, just to put a negative ion generator on our dogs and cats. Because if you have a dog that's running around outside and around the neighborhood, and then they come over here to get pet and loved by you, and they're adorable little faces, of course you can't say no. And now maybe 3 people have sneezed on them, and now, oh my God. My son and I thought about that, and we haven't let the puppies in a while because of this. We were scared. And I'm like, you know what? What if I get a negative ion generator, like personalized, and we can each have one. When we can let the dogs in and put it on the dogs while they're in the house for like an hour, and they'll kill all the germs on the dogs. They'll also keep other people in the neighborhood safe as well. It was just a thought. So it's like, yeah, the dogs might not go for it. I found a brush to brush dogs' hair. I bought it so that I could brush stray dogs that are running around free in the neighborhoods that need a bath. And it's just battery operated, and it works. It's really crazy. You can even use it on your own hair in case your hair is dirty and your water isn't working. Remember I had like 3 days without water over here like a couple weeks ago. But there's even a negative ion, like curling irons that will put the moisture from the air into your hair using the power of negative ions. So it's in a lot of different technologies, and it's really good for you. It also kills germs. So probably a curling iron would kill the germs on your hair, ladies and men, if you want to use a curling iron to either straighten your hair or curl your hair. The negative ion generating ones are really good for you, good for your hair. They don't burn or hurt your hair because of the negative ion part of it, which is awesome. There are also statically charged negative ion hairbrushes and combs you can buy. They're a little bit more expensive, but they also are good for your hair. But this hairbrush for dogs, you just turn it on, put a couple batteries in it, turn it on, and as you brush their hair, all the dander and all the if they have any germs or any dirt, it will just like the extra negative electron, that one extra electron will attach to it, and it will just fall to the ground, and just cleans the dog. It's like wonderful. I call it the secret shower because they don't know they're being cleaned. It's so cool. So I love this sneaky little way of cleaning puppies. Anyway, let's see. There are non-thermal plasmas. Cold plasma is one of the disinfectant processes. It's there's a lot of companies that talk about this. So you can look up plasma disinfection, atmospheric plasma, and then there's cold plasma, and it's to sterilize and micro-clean surfaces. Now, another thing that came about a while back was the fogger or steam cleaner machines that you could just steam and clean everything. Now, if you're living in a place that is like all wood, I wouldn't recommend it. You can warp your wood with so much moisture in the air. But if you live like in the desert, this can work, because then you'll also put moisture in the air and it'll be good for you. But if you live in a place where mold grows easily, like Oregon, I would not recommend it. Or in the Midwest, where your house is all sealed up in the wintertime with plastic, I don't recommend it for that either. But those fog machines are like, they sterilize and disinfect surfaces. I mean, they're awesome. You know, not the ones that do that steam the clothes and get the wrinkles out of your clothes. I don't think that some of them can disinfect and some of them don't. But I've seen one I wanted to get for a long time, that you just put it in your kitchen. You just like over all the surfaces, your stove, everything. And after the hot steam has cleaned everything, it makes it easier to like get the debris off your stove. And I thought that was cool. And out of your oven. So, I mean, it could be safe, but you also have to make sure you have good ventilation. Not because, I mean, the fog is just, or steam is just from, you know, obviously just water. It's like not going to harm you at all. But I worry about the moisture in the air and the factor of mold, having have lived through that kind of a problem. So I think if you combine all these different technologies in your home, I think you can create a safer environment. I think it can be better for you and your children and your yourself. And I don't know, I was thinking about this, guys, and I was thinking, there's got to be a way, right? A better way. Now, if you have a lot of money, I highly recommend buying a rainbow vacuum. It's not really a vacuum as much as an air purification system, but you can vacuum your curtains and your floors. And I mean, this is the best machine I've ever seen in my life. They've been around since like the 40s or 50s. And even the old ones, you could go get one that was made in 1964 and it's going to work still today. It's like they're perfect. The machines are very well made, but they're like $2,000. If you want to get one used on eBay, you can pick them up for $200 to $300. Like the bidding starts at $100, it's going to go up to $300. Trust me. Just bit by bit. It's the last minute. Add $50 to your bid. Trust me on this, because I've lost, auction after auction after auction on eBay, because everybody wants this technology. And the Rainbow Company has a tabletop air purifier that's looks like a little tea kettle, but it's not. You just put aromatherapy in it, and the one that they recommend has petroleum distillate, so I don't like that, but I have used aromatherapy in it, and it will cleanse your air with water, and it has a suction thing. It'll just suck in the air, and it will ozonate. I think it ozonates with ozone through this little water thing, and it'll push the air back out into your room, and it'll be clean and ozonated, like clean for real, without the dust, without the dander, without the pollen, without mold or yeast or whatever. And you have to clean the water every day, but it's a small price to pay. It's like a few minutes of your time. A Rainbow air purification system, they're loud as hell, but this is what NASA uses to clean their huge clean rooms for the Hubble Space Telescope. So it's very good technology. It's sound, and it's not going to hurt you, except your ears for a minute or two. Wear earmuffs or something. Put your earbuds in. But I wish I had one now. But but the Rainbows, you put water in it, and when you vacuum, everything gets sucked into the machine and gets trapped by the water, and the filter is the water, so you're never going to get dust blowing out the back of your vacuum. It just gets trapped in the water. You throw it outside. If you've got a yard, you could dump it just in your yard. It's easy. You just dump out the water, you rinse it out, you put more clean water, and I mean, it's creepy how much dirt and dust and debris you have in your couch. You think your couch is clean until you use this machine and you're like, oh my God. If you don't have $2,000 to spare, don't ever let a rainbow vacuum salesperson into your house, because you're going to want it and you're going to be so sad you don't have it. I know, because I'm certified on selling these things. Yeah, it's excellent technology. I highly recommend just go buy a used one, because they're every bit as good as the brand new ones. And the tabletop rainbow, I forgot what it's called. I'll look it up and try to figure it out, and I can let you guys know probably tomorrow or the next day if I remember. But that's it. Those are the technologies that I was able to discover. The plasma one, I don't know a lot about it yet. I want to look into it, but I'm okay with just the negative ions, and the UV and the ozone. I think for me, those are my trifecta, copper surfaces. If I had my way, I would put copper everywhere. I love the color copper anyway. But it's funny, it reminds me of a story. My mom was impressed when she came to my house and saw how I painted my bathroom in California. And I had the idea of, what if you walked into a bathroom and it felt like you were under the ocean? And I had the ceiling, I painted it gold, as if you're looking up in the sunlight shining into the surface of the sea, and you're under the ocean. And I did I sponged copper and baby blue, and I mixed it in with this deep, beautiful green called Land's End green, which was like a turquoise, like a teal turquoise. It was really beautiful and very rich looking. Before, the bathroom was ugly. It was just plain kind of off-white. It was gross. So I did that, and the kids thought it was like magical. It was like this special bathroom. And I painted all the handles to make it look like jewels, like jewel-encrusted handles, and I did copper on my cabinets, and I made it look like hand-hammered copper, and I just did it with sponges. It was like, just cost me $10 or something. But my mom went back and told her friend in New Mexico, and she says, oh, I love that idea. Copper, that's a good idea. And she had been collecting pennies for like 25 years. And so she decided to hot glue pennies, copper pennies, on her ceiling. And my mom said, oh my God, what a project, And that's what she did. She hot glued her entire ceiling with all the pennies that she had collected over the years. And now that what I've told you guys, I'm like, well, you know what though? She's never going to have germs on her ceilings. Pretty crazy, right? Anyway, well, that's it. That's it for tonight. I will be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming, just like always. And I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I may come back with another channeling, possibly. We'll see. We'll see who comes through. I'm going to I always ask Divine Creator, hey, Prime Creator, who do we want? What do you want me to do today? And today he said, yeah, let's talk about technology. I'm like, maybe we should do a CIA one. He said, no, maybe once a month of the CIA thing. I'm like, okay. So I might come back in September with the CIA thing on Tuesday. The CIA files that have been released to the public. That will give me time to research it a little bit more and see what other strange things I could come up with from them. But I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to be new and original and unique. That's all I know. I wanted to thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Thank you so much. With so much entertainment out in the world, I know it's hard. Everyone's competing for your time, and the fact that you decide to spend it with me means all the world to me. So thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, favoriting, whatever it's called, on the podcast app, platform, or however you're listening to the show. And thank you for sending it to all of your Facebook groups, all of your New Age Facebook groups. Thank you for telling people about it. I see the numbers increasing. It's helping me keep the show alive. I make only 1 penny per listen, and I need a lot of listeners in order to survive. So I thank you guys so much for helping me with this thing. And, the show's always free and always will be. Just listen to it. Listen to the one ad I have, because that's how I make my 1 penny. But I'm grateful to you guys for sharing it and telling other people about it, because the word is spreading. If you or anyone you know is a celebrity who is into spiritual things and would like to kind of let TMZ know about it, or I don't know, well, not E Online, R.I.P. E. I'm sorry, makes me sad, but I think they're gone because of the coronavirus. But if you know any celebrities who want to endorse me, just in an interview, just let it slip out. I've been really listening to Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. I will be forever in your debt. In fact, if you're a celebrity and you do mention me, I will give you, I don't know, a reading or a hypnotherapy session or whatever you want. Just call me and let me know. Just direct message me on Instagram, which is mermaidgirl888. So let me know. Show me the proof of it, and I'll give you a free whatever tarot card reading. I'll talk to your great aunt Tilly from beyond the grave. I will channel God for you. I will hypnotize you to quit smoking or whatever you need. Just let me know. I am looking for celebrity endorsement now, so let me know what you can come up with. So let's see, what else? Is there anything else? I don't think so. I think we're done. I thanked you guys. Oh, I love you. That's the thing I always say every day. I love you guys. You know what? You can't open up all 12 of your chakras without loving everyone on the planet. So forgive and forget all the things that people have done to you. Love them. You don't have to like them, and you don't have to invite them over for Thanksgiving dinner. But love them from a distance if you have to. Love them from a distance. That's okay. Just as long as you love everybody. Don't love what they do sometimes, but you love the person. You love the soul and the creation that God created. And that's how you open up everything. So I did that, and I learned to love everybody, and I love you too. So there you go. That's it. I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.